Hi, my name is Yzella Miramontes, and this is Out of the Dust by Hess. When I point my fingers at the keys, the music springs straight at me. Right hands playing notes sharp as tongues, while the brilliant, smooth, buttery rhythms back me up on the left. It's the best I've ever felt playing piano, hot piano, with Mad Dog Craddock and the Black Mesa Boys. This is heaven. Arlie Waterdale says that Sunny of Sunnyside shouldn't take me out of school more than twice a week. When I told Ma, she said I couldn't do it. She doesn't like the music I play, but me and Daddy have been trying not to bug her for what it might do to the baby if we don't. I know she doesn't like the kind of music I play, but sometimes I think she's just plain jealous when I'm at the piano and she's not. Whatever the reason, I do as she says, but I glare at her back with a scowl, foul as Maggoty stew. When I told Ma that our school scored highest in the whole state and I scored top of the 8th grade class, she nodded. I knew you could. That's all she said. I knew you could. She was proud, I could tell, but sometimes I wish she'd give me a little more than I knew you could. Instead, she makes me feel like she's just taking me in like flannel drying the line. August 1934. I got burned. Bad. Daddy left a pail of kerosene next to the stove and Ma, thinking it was water, picked it up to make coffee, but instead of making coffee, Mom made a rope of fire. She tore across the kitchen as it burst into flames, screaming for Daddy out the porch door, and I tore after her, but thinking about the pail in the bone-dry kitchen, I ran back and grabbed it and threw it out. I didn't know. I didn't know she was coming back. I pushed her to the ground and tried to beat the flames out with my hands. I tried to save her, to save the baby, but I couldn't do it. Ma got burned bad. Someone called for Doc Rice and he tended to Ma first. When he came to me, he cut the skin away from my hands with scissors, and it hung in crusted strips. He cut away the skin from my hands and poked it with needles to see if I could feel anything. He bathed my hands in antiseptic. Only then the pain came. Daddy put a tent over Ma so nothing could touch her skin. What skin she has left. I can't look at her. It doesn't even have a face. I can't recognize her. Daddy brings her water in the pail and drips it into her mouth using a cloth. She moans whenever the baby moves inside her, day and night, and I wish the dust would cover my ears so I couldn't hear her. Daddy found the money that Ma squirreled under the kitchen threshold. It wasn't much, but it was enough for him to go and get good and drunk. He went out last night while Ma was still outside. I tried to squeeze the cloth into her mouth, but I couldn't do it. It hurt the blisters on my hands. Mom moaned and begged for the water that ran into the sores on her mouth. She moaned and begged for the water that would not soothe her throat. And all the while, my father was in Gaiman, drinking. November 1934. My father's sister came to pick up my baby brother, even as Ma's body cooled. But he died before she could get there. She wouldn't even hold his little body. When she saw that he was dead, she had to talk with my father and then turned around and went back home. The neighbor woman came and they took my baby brother and put it in my mother's arms. We buried her on the rise, The one that she liked? The women scrubbed death from our house, but I stayed in my room on the iron bed, listening to their voices. Billy Joe threw the pail, they said. An accident, they said. They didn't say anything about my father leaving the pail of kerosene next to the stove. They didn't say anything about my father drinking himself into a stupor while my mom begged for water. They only said Billy Joe threw the pail. My father stares at me. When I sit across from him at the table, while I wash dishes, my back to him, the picked and festered bits of my hand in agony. He works long hours with the electric train when they can use him. My father wipes his eyes the way I do, with the palms out. Ma never did that. And he wipes the milk from his upper lip with the thumb and forefinger. Ma never did that either. My father stares at me. Maybe he's looking for her. He won't find her. I look like him. I stand like him. I walk across the kitchen with that long-legged walk of his. But if I could somehow see her in my face, if I could somehow know that Ma and the baby lived on in me. But I can't. I'm my father's daughter. January 1935. Each day before class starts and each morning before it begins, I make my hands work. Through the agony, through the pain, I make my hands play. I've played my best piece 1,000 times till my arms sob because Thursday night the Pals is having a contest. We could use the money, but it's the playing I want, the proving I can still do it. I have a hunger for more than food. I have a hunger bigger than Joy City. I want eyes to shine and tongues to tie at me like they do at Mad Dog Craddock. But I know they won't. Not with my hands all scarred up, looking like the earth itself. I figure if I play right, maybe they can look past my hands, and maybe they could feel all right with me, and then maybe I could feel all right with myself. I did play like a cripple. Not that anyone would say anything, but my playing's no good. My hands are no good. If Daddy ever goes to see Doc Rice about the spots on his skin, maybe I can ask the doctor to do about my hands. But Daddy isn't going, and I fear we're both turning to dust. If Ma could put her hand on my shoulder or rub my hair back, making those soft, reassuring noises that no matter how sharp or brittle the world seemed, no matter how sharp or brittle she seemed, she was still my Ma, who loved me. Then maybe I wouldn't be so eager to go. August 1935. Hayden and I's wife Fonda died the other day. The cause of death was dust pneumonia. But I think she couldn't go on without her man. When Ma died, I didn't want to go on either. I don't know. I don't feel the same now. Not exactly. I see that every day goes one measure at a time and you get through it. I want to go. Not die. I not like her. But I want to go. Out of the dust. November 1935. I've been playing half an hour each day, making the skin stretch, making the scars stretch. I'm getting to know the music again, and it's getting to know me. We sniff under each other's armpits and behind each other's ears and the backs of each other's necks. We're both sassy and a little confident, and I see now that all the time that I was trying to get out of the dust, the thing is, I am what I am because of the dust. And what I am is good enough. Even for me. I point my fingers at the keys, and I play. Thank you.